Alright, I'm back with another poker chip theory video. In this video, I want to discuss and try to explain our dominant 7 chord structure in terms of the structure of a dominant 7 form. We have the dominant 7 chord occurs on the 5th note of any major scale. It's formed naturally with forming alternating scale tones beginning from the 5th note. So in like C major, when you go C, D, E, F, G, on the 5th tone, you're going to have the G dominant 7. The reason for that is that the 7th of the chord occurs naturally as a flatted 7th from a G major 7 in the key of C, because F is natural in the key of C, and in G there's going to have the 1 sharp in the key signature. So that happens on every 5 chord on major, and it happens on the 7 chord in a harmonic minor scale. I'm sorry, a natural minor. In natural minor, it happens on the 7 chord, and in harmonic minor, it will be on the 5, the dominant 7 chord. So we're going to talk about what is a dominant 7 chord and how can we figure out the notes using a structure of half steps between the intervals of the chord. Here I have a chart laid out here that explains the structure of a dominant 7 chord. You're going to have a chord that has the root, a third, a fifth, and then we have a 4th tone because it's a 7th chord. So here we have the 7th, and the 7th there says flat 7 because it is flatted 1/2 step lower on this note here from the major 7. So we have a total of 10 half steps, right? 4 plus 3 plus 3 equals 10 between the root and the 7th, or the flat 7, giving you a minor 7th interval from the root to the 7th, divided by the 3rd and the 5th, which is a major pattern, 4-3. So you end up having a minor 3rd, 3 half steps above a major triad. And that describes the form of a dominant 7 chord. Again, we have the inversions. First inversion, bringing the root to the top, leaving the 3rd on the bottom. The second inversion will be the 5th on the bottom, and the 3rd inversion here, there's 3 inversions on the 7th chord, leaving the 7th on the bottom. You have your 7th, root, 3rd, and 5th, like this. So here I have above a chromatic scale, or a scale with poker chips you might see on a piano keyboard, C through C on the octave, so that I can point out the names of the notes. Let's start down here on C, and we're going to form our dominant 7 chord with C as our root, in root position. So here we simply have the C as the root, so we're going to need 4, 3, and 3 half steps above it to form our dominant 7 chord. So here we can simply count 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4 gives us the E, and then 3 more half steps for the 5th. 1, 2, 3 will give us a G. And again, that's our C major triad, C, E, G, and now we need the 7th, which is going to be the minor 3rd above the 5th. 1, 2, 3. And there it is, B flat. You have the flat 7 from a major 7, because a major 7 in C major is the B natural, and since it's flatted, it's a dominant 7. So here we have C, E, G, B flat. And that demonstrates the root position, C dominant 7 4-3-3 root position. If we look at the second inversion, starting on the same pitch, C, we're going to have a different chord, but we're going to show that the second inversion of the same chord, second inversion of a dominant 7 is going to have a 3-3-2 form. So once we move the root to the top, leaving our third on the bottom, we have 3 half steps. Again, everything just shifts down, and we have the root is going to be 2 half steps above the 7th in this direction. So if we move it up here, you have a major second between the flat 7 and the root, right? On the dominant 7 first inversion, 3-3-2 form. So here we take our C, and it will actually be B sharp in this chord. Once we'll explain. So we take third, C will be our third. We'll take 1, 2, 3 half steps. This will be our fifth. Again, another 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. That's our flat 7. And then 2 more. 1, 2. This is our root. This is the root of the chord. So we have third, fifth, flat 7, and root. And this is using the same tone here that we did on the root position, but if we use the same note in first inversion, you wind up with a completely different chord, but it's the same form, 3-3-2 for the dominant 7. So what you have here is essentially G sharp dominant 7 chord with G sharp as a root, B sharp as a third, the fifth, D sharp, and your flat 7 is going to be an F sharp. So that forms a G sharp dominant 7 in first inversion. Okay, it's a 3-3-2 form. So looking at the dominant 7 in second inversion, we have a 3-2-4 with our fifth on the bottom. So 3-2-4 we're going to form here. We're going to go ahead and leave this note here, and we're going to form a dominant 7 chord in second inversion. So we're going to count 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3 for our flat 7, 1, 2 for the root, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 will be the third. Well, here you can see the 3-2-4 position, or dominant 7, second inversion, 3-2-4. You can see that. If C is the root, we're going to have essentially the F, A, C, E flat, or an F dominant 7 with C on the bottom. So here you have the C, the 7th E flat, the root F, and the third A. So that's second inversion, dominant 7, or a 3-2-4 form. Again, the root is 4-3-3, first inversion is 3-3-2, second inversion is 3-2-4. And now let's do the third inversion with the 7th on the bottom. We're using C as our 7th on our dominant 7. We're going to leave the C, and we're going to count a 2-4-3 third inversion dominant 7 form from C. So 1, 2, and we count the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3, 1, 2, 3. So there you have a dominant 7 chord in third inversion. So what do we have? We have a C, a D, an F sharp, and A. So we have a D dominant 7 in third inversion. And C, D, F sharp, A, right? It's this form right here. 2, 4, 3, dominant 7, third inversion. So a good way to practice these would be to go through all 4 forms, all 4 inversions, starting on any given note. We can do another one. We can start on, like you start with this, the C sharp or D flat, and you can count, you can do the form starting on that pitch. And that's just a good way to practice your dominant 7s. It's good to remember the forms so that when you look at your music, you can understand the structure a little easier. Hopefully that helps.